Right, this is a look around the Keep the Change planning tool. So, as we know, of a number of things in life, people fail to make a plan. And when we don't have a plan, we don't know where we're going. And when we don't know where we're going, we don't understand why we end up where we end up. So, having a financial plan, very, very important for people. Having a business plan, very important for business owners. Having a health plan, very important for people that are trying to stay in good health. So, your finances are completely no different at all. So we've put together a planning tool for people to be able to basically map out the next 5 years, even 10 years, 20 years, as well as build an action plan. So I'm just going to run through this quickly here, which you can see each of the boxes have basically got a description as to how you use them and how you fill them. And it's very important that if you're in a relationship or if you've got a partner, then you want to be doing this with somebody. And if you're not there yet, well, you want to be sharing it with that person once you are there and making sure that you're on the same page and working towards the same sorts of goals. So this really starts off with building a purpose around why you're actually doing this, why you're going through the Keep the Change methodology and the planning tool, and why it's important for you to have a plan. And for some people, it might be leaving a legacy. Other people might want to teach their kids. They might want to have, never have to worry about money again, all those sorts of things. And you want to get clear on why it is that that's important to you. And that can be your driving force when it does get tough, where you can't be bothered doing this sort of stuff. And you need to go back and review this and remember why it is that you're doing what you're doing and why it's so important to do that. So basically the plan then takes you through building out a vision over the next 5, 10, 20 years. This is actually modeled off of business planning that we do with business clients, and they pay tens of thousands of dollars to do this with us throughout the year. So we've changed it so that you guys can use it personally, and a lot of it is very, very similar. So it's very well structured, but then you want to add, goals that you've got. Might even just be paying down credit cards or saving for a house deposit, or even just understanding how you'd go about buying your first home or buying your second one, those sorts of things. Your goals want to go in there, and then some opportunities to improve and on what you're already doing. So you have to think about those things, because there's always areas that we can be improving on. And then similarly, there's always something that's getting in the bloody way. So your biggest roadblock, and of course, back over here, some of the things that have stopped you from achieving financial success in the past or that are getting in your way. So there's a bit to think about there, and this should take a bit of time to complete, because it's not an easy assessment. It should take you a good few hours to basically work through these things if you do it really well and really, really properly. So back to the top, we've got ways to increase your income. You want to be thinking about some of those ways, and then of course how you can decrease some of your spending. So once you've worked through some of the other material, you should have done exercises around increasing your income and also decreasing your spending. So then you want to think about what you'd actually do with that extra income, because whether you're increasing your income or decreasing your spending, you're going to have more money. But you don't want to have more money for the sake of having more money if you're not going to do something smart with it, because as we know, money will get chewed up in some way, shape, or form. So if you get clear on why it is that you'd like to have extra money, it's going to put you in a better position when you do actually have extra money, because you're going to know why that's important for you. And that's something that a lot of people never actually think about. Okay, why do I want more money? Because we seem to be still alive with 60,000. So what's 80,000 going to mean to me? That sort of thing. And then also just a section to jot down the things that you need to learn further about money. It might be whether you've never reviewed your KiwiSaver, you've never understood taxes, you've never understood the fees you're paying on KiwiSaver, you've never even looked at what those returns are. You don't know if you've got money in the bank, whether it's earning interest. You don't know whether you should be looking into your IRD account to figure out if you've got a tax refund. You don't understand how to buy a rental property when you've currently got a home of your own that you live in, all those sorts of things. So they need to go in there, and they become part of what you'll be doing in the second tab of this, which will be creating an action plan. So there's a little extra there if you want to jot some notes and these things get you thinking about different things. You want to put those there, because this is something that you'll come back to a number of times as you're working through it consistently throughout the year and beyond the first year as well. And in here, you want to have a look at your income target. So you might set a target of what you want to have your household income, or yourself personally. If you're in employment, that's probably going to be capped at an amount, but you want to be going back up here and figuring out how you can increase income in your household. And then, of course, we suggest that you take savings first, because most Kiwis save last, and that's why we have a very low savings rate in New Zealand. So you want to teach yourself to save and put some money aside first, and then that's going to give you what you've got left over. You should know your living costs, and if not, you need to work through those, and then that gives you your extra, which then you need to cut your profit down into some emergency funds and things like that, which we work through the Keep the Change material as well. So plenty to get through there. Like I say, it should take you a bit of time if you do it properly. And of course, this is a living document, so you should put it somewhere and keep coming back to it and reviewing it and updating it as you come into new areas of your life. So over to the action plan. This basically sets out what you need to do based on your goals and some of the things that you set over here around learning about. So this is a way for you to then jot down what things you want to be doing over the next 12 months. And of course, there's a nice little spelling mistake here for some robust budgeting processes and reviewing of spelling. But these are examples here that you might want to include, but it really is up to you as to where you're at and what things you're trying to achieve. This is a framework to be able to help you work towards that. And so ideally, you would come back into this every quarter and you would look at how you've gone, what you've done, what hasn't been done and what still needs to be done. And you'll be updating this every quarter. So you'd have your month-end process with your financial side of things, but then you come back to your words every quarter or more regularly if you want to, but you need to stay on top of this and make sure that you're actually making some progress. So if you're working through it with a partner or a loved one, then you want to own the responsibility around who's going to be doing it and by when that's going to happen. So very, very structured and smart way to take information and turn it into something practical, because as we know, information alone doesn't always lead to change or people transforming the things that they're trying to achieve. So this is the piece that bridges the gap for a lot of people, including business owners that use this methodology. It is designed to go, okay, it's great to have a plan. How can we get it down on paper and how can we chunk it down into actionable steps that we need to do? And we know that imperfect action will beat inaction every time. So this is one thing that a lot of people will never actually do in their life, and it will probably lead them to finishing their life with no legacy, no money, no financial security. And it sounds harsh, but it is very realistic as to how most people end up passing away in New Zealand. And unfortunately, that is a result of the lack of financial planning. So doing this, very, very important for individuals, for households, and cannot stress enough how spending some time on this, even just once a year, will put you miles ahead of the planning that other people are doing. In business, often we see people spend more on the entertainment than they will on the education, which is obviously broken. And people will spend hours and hours planning out their 1 week a year holiday to the Bahamas or whatever. But if you ask them what time they've spent on planning the rest of their life and how they want it to financially plan out, they look at you like you're the idiot. So use this to your advantage, embrace it, and have a bit of fun with it and take it seriously, and hopefully it helps.